Hey guys, ArtisanTony. That's right, we're on the workbench today and I have a new project. Well, what do we have here? A Mossberg 500 with wood furniture. Alright, you can see this is a chambered 20 gauge. Maybe you can't see it, but I'll show you. I have safety checked the shotgun. I think in the chamber, and see if I can do this with one hand. Slide that back. Nothing in the tube. So that's a good looking shotgun, and I hope that Barrett and Alex and I get a lot of enjoyment out of this. But one thing I noticed, and these were in the pictures on Gunbroker, the seller did a good job of showing these. There were some dings and some scratches on the butt stock. I believe the forearm was pretty good. Checkering was pretty good. So the only thing is, I don't like this blonde, this lighter color. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera, but it's more of a blonde. I like blondes, but you know, you've seen my other projects. I love a good brunette on my guns. So I'm actually going to take this furniture off and strip it down and try to fix some of these scratches and dings and then put a darker finish on it. The other thing is I haven't actually checked. Can't do it. There we go. Anyway, I'll take this off in a second to check to see if there's a plug in there. I do have some rounds here in the Red Deck magazine over here. I may actually try to put the camera on the tripod and go ahead and see how many rounds it'll chamber. Make sure it's on safety, and because I am inside, I don't want to blow a hole in my walls or anything else. So let me get the camera on the tripod, and we'll go from there. Okay, so obviously the simple way to figure this out is just to see if the plug is in there without taking it apart. I'll just 1, 2, 3. I think it's probably going to hold 5, 4. Okay, the plug's out. 5. So I do have it on safety. So I'm just gonna see how it see how it cycles here. So if I can get this in frame. Keep my finger off the trigger. Oh yeah, I got a slide release here. Okay. So it cycles pretty well. I don't know if you saw the last shotgun I bought on Gunbroker would not cycle at all. I felt like I kind of got ripped off with that purchase, and of course it was not a Mossberg or a Remington. I actually forgot. I'd have to go back and see. It was some Turkish brand. Anyway, it was a cheaper made shotgun. This one's obviously better made. I'm going to take it apart now. Again, since I've cycled it, since I tested that cycling, I just want to make sure that the chamber is empty again. Stick my finger in the chamber and make sure there's nothing in that magazine tube either, so I can start to disassemble it. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to remove the barrel. Just unscrew that. Oops. And put it aside for now. I figured I was going to have to take out some of this inner assembly here, so let me take the trigger group out and go from there. So really all we have to do is take this pin, push it out. Okay, good. I was wondering how much force. Sometimes they're kind of stuck in there. And then just kind of remove this pin, and the trigger assembly should come out if I have it Okay, just took a little, I didn't want to force it, but took just a little force to get the trigger assembly out. I'm bad about taking things apart and not knowing how to put them back together, so I'm actually going to use the old redneck method of keeping parts together. Okay, I'll have to admit this is a little bit of a learning experience for me, and I did have to go get my flashlight to be able to see. The lighting is not as good as I thought it was going to be. Now I've got to get that slide out of there. It should lift out. Should and will. There are always two different things with me for some reason. I think it has a little bit to do with where you actually, there we go. Actually try to do it. I think it has to be just the right spot. So that's the bolt slide. Let's see if we can get the bolt itself out. I don't know. Let me see if I can. Okay, you know what? I don't really need to take it completely apart. I just want to get this foregrip off here so I can put a finish on it. This part unscrews. Let's see if I can get something flat to do that with. I'm sure there's a tool for this. Let's see if I can get one of my Allen wrenches to do it. There we go. It's not a big deal. Just trying to get my Allen wrench in that little slot right there and unscrew that. Okay, I thought that would come out now. Yep. Okay, so I have my first wood piece here. Actually, it looks pretty good, but I still think I want to change the color of it. It's kind of funny because I had no idea what kind of screw was holding on this butt pad. So I just kind of stuck my little cordless screwdriver in there with a Phillips bit on it, and it it worked. It's amazing. Nothing like that ever works for me. It's crazy. It's a good omen for this job, for this project. Okay, that makes sense though. They're just two Phillips head wood screws in there, and they were way down in there so I couldn't see. So now I'm assuming there's a long screw in here that is holding the stock on, the butt stock. So let's see if I can see that. Okay, so I have discovered that it is a long flathead, or a big flathead or slotted screw, and it's going to take a, see if this can get down in there. Nope. I'm not sure if I'm even in the slot. It feels like it's in the slot, but I guess it's not. Okay, so somehow I gotta get this in there and seated. And I have tried and tried to get this out. My next course of action is to try this. So can you see? I'm not sure I'm actually even seated. Okay, that bolt was in there pretty good. I'm not sure I'm actually, yeah, I'm turning it. I'm not sure if they had some Loctite on it or what, but well, that's a hefty bolt. What I had to do was, and it took me a while, it took me about 10 minutes, I had to stick the screwdriver in there and somehow get it seated properly, and then take my vice grips and then try to turn it because it was so tight. That worked pretty good. Okay, so I thought I'd just do a quick inventory here. So I have the bolt and the bolt slide. Those go together like that. I obviously have the trigger housing, trigger group, that trigger housing pin, the sling point screw, whatever you call that. This is our big bolt, our butt bolt, and our lifter, and our cartridge stop. Let's see, I think one of these is the cartridge stop and one is the cartridge interrupter, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna have to do a little more study on that. Okay, so whatever. But one thing I have learned is to try to keep all your parts together. So I'm going to put them in a plastic baggie. The pins. I'm even going to take the washers off this bolt. Put them in there. And what else do I have? The bolt and the bolt slide. And I wonder if the trigger, yep. This lifter will not fit in there, but at least I've got most of it. Anything else? So we can put all that, keep all that together. Okay, so what I decided to use was this Ready Strip, and it's supposed to be low odor and not toxic. It says it will remove up to 7 layers in a single application. It also changes colors when ready to remove, which I think is pretty cool. It says begins to work in 60 minutes. Now I have used that Safest Stripper by 3M before, and it's pretty good. But I always like trying new things. And it is a liquid. First I thought it was a powder. And I'm just going to put it on this brush. Oh good Lord, it looks like frog lube. Huh. It's crazy. It's like frog lube, doesn't it? Let's see, should I use my screwdriver to stir it up? Now, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to stain this or not. I may get a wild hair and paint this with some kind of camo. But even if I do that, I want to strip off this, at least this layer of lacquer or whatever the finish is on this. Again, I'm just trying to get it on there thick because I've never used this before, and I imagine you're supposed to get it on thick. Okay, so now that I have successfully made a mess, it should be interesting to see how this turns out. I think it was G-Man 77 Gas that said he had not had very much luck with the you know, the odorless strippers, but I actually had pretty good luck with the 3M product on the last project I did, which was a little nightstand. And of course you gotta let it work. I was playing with it here, and it has deglossed it. I'll probably have to sand that spot off, but I'm gonna let it sit for several hours and see what it happens. This may, if all it does is degloss it, I'll be happy. because I think I'm going to end up painting this with the with a digital camo finish. What I'll do is I'm going to cut this part off here now, and the next part will be, you know, finishing the stock and reassembling it. And I might have a little surprise on the barrel. This barrel is like 22 inches. I think I'm actually going to cut it down. Probably going to cut the barrel off here, just past this point here, to leave, and I'll cut that rib back to there. But I'll make sure the barrel is legal. Like, I won't just cut the barrel straight back to here, because I think that's probably going to be a little bit short. I think I need to leave the barrel about another ½ inch longer. But I don't like these choke tubes. I don't like this stuff, and I just like the shorter barrels. So it'll be more of a home defense shotgun. And I'm pretty sure I can still shoot some trap with it. As good as I am. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in part 2. Might need to clean this desk up.